Deep inside the heart of a dense forest in a remote region lived a tribe known for its isolation from the outside world. Their lives revolved around hunting, gathering, and ancient traditions passed down for centuries. It was in this very wilderness that a young girl named Mira found herself trapped in circumstances she could never have imagined. She was not from the tribe but from a nearby town, curious, adventurous, and brave by nature. On that fateful morning she had wandered too far from her companions during a hiking trip, fascinated by the towering trees, echoing bird calls, and the sound of rushing streams. Her steps led her deeper into the thickets until she realized she had completely lost her way. The forest grew darker as she advanced, the canopy above blocking most of the daylight. Strange sounds came from all directions, the rustling of leaves, the crackling of dry twigs under invisible feet, and the occasional distant roar of wild animals. Fear gripped her, yet she forced herself to stay calm. She thought she could retrace her steps but soon noticed she was surrounded by unfamiliar symbols and markings on the trees. Before she could understand them, a group of tribal men appeared, their faces painted with natural colors, carrying spears and bows. They looked both fierce and cautious, staring at her as if she was an intruder in their sacred land. Mira froze, her heart pounding like a drum inside her chest. The men spoke in a language she did not understand, but their gestures were clear. She was to come with them. Terrified, yet knowing resistance could make matters worse, she followed. They led her to their settlement, hidden within the forest, where huts of wood and leaves stood in circles around a large fire pit. Women, children, and elders came forward, curious to see the outsider. Some whispered, others frowned, and a few glared with suspicion. Mira realized she was completely at their mercy. The tribe's leader, an elderly man with sharp eyes and a staff decorated with feathers, studied her carefully. He seemed wise but also strict. Through signs and expressions, Mira tried to show she meant no harm. The leader ordered she be kept under watch until they decided what to do. The night fell heavy on her heart as she sat near the fire, surrounded by unfamiliar faces, aware of the risk of being punished as an intruder. Sleep was impossible. Every sound of the forest echoed like a warning. She remembered her family, her home, and tears filled her eyes. Yet inside her grew a determination. She would survive and find her way out. The next day, she was taken to the river with some tribal women who fetched water. Mira noticed that not all of them seemed cruel. Some looked at her with sympathy. A young girl close to her age even smiled faintly. Through small gestures, Mira tried to build a silent understanding. She realized her best chance was to gain their trust while quietly planning her escape. She helped them carry water, gathered firewood, and did not resist their rules. This softened their attitude, though the warriors still kept a close watch. But one evening, while the tribe was gathered for a ritual dance around the fire, Mira noticed something. The guards' attention was fixed on the ceremony, their eyes glowing in the firelight. Beyond the huts, the forest shimmered in silver moonlight, dark yet full of possibility. Her instincts screamed this was her only chance. Carefully, silently, she moved away from the group, her steps masked by the loud drums and chants. She slipped into the shadows, her heart racing, every muscle tense. She knew if they discovered her missing, the chase would begin. The forest at night was terrifying, yet freedom drove her forward. She ran through thorns and vines, scratched and bruised but unstoppable. She listened for streams, remembering water always led out of forests. After hours of struggle, exhaustion took over. She climbed a tree and hid among its thick branches, trying to rest while staying safe from wild animals. Below, she heard distant shouts. The tribe had realized she was gone. Torches flickered in the distance as search parties spread out. Mira held her breath, praying they would not look up. Hours passed, and finally, silence returned. At dawn, she climbed down and pushed forward again. Hunger clawed at her stomach, and thirst burned her throat, yet she pressed on. She used stones to mark her path, tried to remember the direction of the sun, and whispered to herself to stay strong. She thought of her family, of life beyond the forest, and every step became a battle for survival. She crossed muddy swamps, nearly slipped into ravines, and once faced a wild boar whose eyes gleamed with rage. With quick thinking, she climbed a tree before it charged, saving herself by inches. Days blurred together, but her courage grew sharper. She discovered edible berries, drank from clear streams, and used her scarf to protect against the sun. Finally, after what felt like endless wandering, she heard a distant sound unlike anything in the forest, the honking of a vehicle. Her heart leapt. She rushed toward it, stumbling, bleeding, but unstoppable. Breaking through the last wall of trees, she collapsed onto a dirt road where a group of villagers found her. They were shocked by her condition, her torn clothes, her sunburned skin, her hollow eyes, but they quickly offered help. She was safe at last, rescued from the jaws of danger. When she told her story, the villagers were amazed at her bravery and survival instinct. News spread, and soon she was known as the girl who escaped from the clutches of the forest tribe with nothing but her courage and determination. Mira's ordeal left scars but also strength. She learned the value of courage, quick thinking, and the will to survive. She never forgot the faces of those who watched her in the firelight, nor the shadows of the jungle that tested her spirit. Her true story became a reminder that even in the darkest of places, the strength of the human will can carve a path to freedom.